Hello, I'm Dan Alexander. Thanks for joining me on another of my webcast episodes. I hope you're wearing one of these. It's a crazy world out there. Stay healthy. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about equalizers, but before I do, I'm going to devote this episode to four terms that relate to equalizers: shelving, bell shaped, peaking, and cue width. A shelving equalizer at a shelving boost at 100 cycles will boost 100 cycles. Let's say it's 5 dB, but it is also boosting everything down below 100 cycles, also 5 dB. So, for example, 100 and 80 and 60 and 40 all go up 5 dB. On the other end, on a high frequency boost, say it was a 10K shelf. 10K is going up 5 dB, but so is 12K and 15K and who knows, 18, 20K. They're all going up 5 dB. That's a shelving boost, right? If it was a cut, it was a shelving cut at 100 cycles, you'd be cutting 100 cycles 5 dB, but you'd also be cutting 80 and 60 and 40 and on down a commensurate amount. That's shelving. Okay. Peaking, if you were boosting 500 cycles with a peaking boost, here would be 500 cycles, but you'd also be boosting 490 and 510 and 480 and 540, depending on the width of the peak, right? You'd be bringing up those frequencies. Now, you're not going to be affecting, if you're boosting a peaking boost at 500 cycles, you're not going to be affecting 100 cycles very much. You're not going to be affecting 5,000 cycles very much, depending on the width of the peak. All right. A bell-shaped curve, a bell-shaped equalizer, similarly, it simply has a less dramatic profile. If you're boosting 500 cycles with a bell-shaped curve, you're going to be affecting 490 and 470 and 450, obviously much more, and the same commensurately on the high side. As you boost that 500 cycle bell shape EQ, you're also going to be affecting the frequencies that are surrounding it more than you would if it was peaked, if it was a peaking EQ. Okay, so there's that. And now, cue width. So cue width simply is the width of the frequency range that are affected when you boost or cut. So if you have a very tight cue, a very narrow cue, at 160 cycles, it's going to affect 160 cycles and maybe 159 and 157, but it's not going to have any effect over here at 80, right? That's a very narrow cue. A very broad cue gets more like a bell shape or a shelving curve, where the frequencies that are affected around the frequency that you've named, it's a much broader thing. So like 500 cycles and 490 and 450 and down there at 420 and 350, and it's all this, the cue width becomes broader and broader, and it becomes more bell-shaped rather than more peaking. Okay, so does any of that make sense? Hopefully, hopefully it does, and it's not too. It's obviously pretty simplistic stuff. So, in any case, thank you for joining me. Do me a favor, subscribe to this. I'm going to do another episode this evening about types of equalizers and how these terms apply. So, thanks very much for joining me. Really appreciate it. Have a great evening and stay safe out there. Stay healthy.